stop explaining yourself to people committed to misunderstanding. At some point, you've got to recognize the difference between someone who doesn't understand you and someone who has already decided not to, because those are two very different people. One is open, the other is closed, with a conclusion already in place. And here's where we get stuck. We keep explaining. We keep clarifying. We keep trying to say it just the right way, thinking if we find the perfect words, they'll finally get it. But the truth is, you can't explain yourself into being understood by someone who is committed to misunderstanding you. That's not a communication problem. That's a mindset problem on their end. See, when someone wants to understand you, they listen differently. They ask questions. They give you space to be human, not perfect. But when someone has already made up their mind about you, they don't listen to understand. They listen to confirm. They twist your words. They ignore your intent. They filter everything you say through a story they've already written about you. And no matter how many times you explain yourself, you're just adding more material for them to misinterpret. So let me say this clearly. You don't owe endless explanations to people who are determined to see you wrong. At some point, explaining yourself becomes self-abandonment. You start second-guessing your tone, your words, your intentions, all to convince someone who isn't trying to be convinced. That's exhausting, and it slowly chips away at your confidence. Here's the shift. Instead of asking, how can I explain this better? Start asking, is this person even trying to understand me? Because if they're not, no amount of explaining will fix that. And maturity, real maturity, is recognizing when a conversation is no longer about connection. It's about control, ego, or being right. That's when you step back. Not out of anger, not out of spite, but out of self-respect. You don't need to raise your voice. You don't need to write a longer paragraph. You don't need to prove your heart to someone who has already dismissed it. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is nothing at all. And the most powerful thing you can do is walk away from the need to be understood by someone who never intended to understand you in the first place, because the right people, they don't require a performance. They don't need 10 explanations. They don't make you feel like you're constantly on trial. They meet you halfway. They listen. They care. So stop over-explaining yourself to the wrong audience and start preserving your energy for the people who actually hear you, because your voice deserves to be understood, but not at the cost of losing yourself trying to prove it.